Another day, another stalling where I refuse to finish Ben 10 Omniverse and go start Avatar by reacting to random Ben 10 videos. This is called When a Hero's Kill Rule Makes No Sense from DanBoyWonder. Got a lot of motion 2 months ago, pretty relevant, and an interesting concept too, with like the nature of killing somebody in a children's cartoon.
Yeah,
Forms!
we're gonna have to investigate you, buddy. When it comes to superheroes,
Who did Forums kill here? I think this was an episode with Uncle Hex and stuff, right? I think it was one of those magic episodes and there was like golems and other shit happening. Maybe I'm wrong.
we're gonna have to investigate you, buddy. When it
First
comes
text,
to
right?
superheroes, there's always that question about their stance on killing. Do or do they not execute the bad guys? And if so, why? Unless you're
Well, I guess like the natural theme is never, right? Because like if you kill, then like you're really bad. Unless you're Batman, where you pretty much give them a situation where they wish for death. Now they're paralyzed from the waist below, and Batman will make you wish that you were dead.
Arkham Batman who does everything to a motherfucker but kill them, bro, literally
Yeah.
be hurling propane tanks at thugs and has the audacity to say, "Don't worry, Gordon, he's fine." It's usually make
It is so funny though, like how actually real it is. The memes of like, just kill them, Batman. Just put them out of their misery. You basically crippling them, turning them into vegetable and saying, you got off lucky.
clear on where a hero stands on the matter, especially if you were the lead on one of the big three networks, as those networks like to keep things child-friendly and lighthearted for the most part.
I don't really care about out of context Avatar spoilers. Any show that I've never seen, but there's like future states power forms, like it's just a state of content creation. It is what it is.
Something like this would be just a bit too much to have take a prominent stance on your action cartoon. Unless your name was Ben 10.
Ben 10?
Whether or not Ben has a rule about killing is a major discussion point in the fandom, mainly when it comes to his UAF iterations. Even
I'm gonna put Kevin down. That was fucked. All these other villains, nah, you can go to jail and get released later on. Especially in Omniverse. God damn, it is just, we're just fishing and releasing. It's just catch and release, catch and release. And then Ultimate Alien went down this storyline of dark, edgy Ben that wants to put Kevin down because he's like, this is the monster I create. Bro went way big on Gwen. Do you remember that shit? And I was like, this shit is so forced. But at the same time, it was so compelling because it was a side of Ben I've never seen, and it led to some really cool moments, like the raining side. Remember when Azimuth was coming in and it's raining and Ben, like lightning flash, and he has that jacket taking off, and he says a really cool line. I forgot exactly what it was.
before then, however, Ben has
Hey, buddy. You're up next. You better delete these tweets. Because we're making a video about you. We're making multiple videos about you today. It's a Nicholas Light stream today. That's right. You're done. By the way, this dude is straight up from Phantom Blood. You remember JoJo's? JoJo's Phantom Blood, Chinese guy. The Orient. Wait, why am I? Oh shit! What the fuck? Yo, Google. Oh, I'm on the. I don't see Nicholas Light here. Yo, you're washed. You're fucking washed, bro. My Phantom Blood reaction. Where's yours? You fucking putting up part 3 reaction on your 3rd channel. Anyways, I swear to God, it's this dude. It's the Orient. It's the Chinaman. It's Dio's #1. Anyways, we're getting off topic. I'm recording a video for the 2nd channel right now for Ben 10. Go farm more Ben 10 content. Ben 10 does really well. Spoilers right over here. Be careful.
multiple instances where you could make the case that he is indeed intending to kill his enemies. Outside of The Last Airbender, Ben 10 is like the only cartoon I recall making the idea of his protagonist taking a life the central part of a story, with the topic becoming
Yeah, and it felt really forced though, right? It wasn't natural. I think the writers really felt like, damn, we're kind of... Because like, what was the nature of that arc? Ultimate Greg was set up to be this crazy opponent. Very dark arc with all these different aliens being killed, you know, captive, right? Like Andreas, right? Armadillo, you know, Water Hazard and Amphibian and fucking Adwecha guy. Crazy, I remember his name by Adwecha, not by like Terraspin, right? And some of the other dudes too, right? And it was supposed to be a very dark, gritty arc. I think a plumber died too, right? I think Ultimate Greg straight up killed a plumber in his pursuit. And then it led to some really interesting story of Paradox creating these fragments, you know, where he sealed the map of infinity or key of infinity, I forgot, right? And there were some really dark stories of like remember the cube, the tetrahedron place, right? And that Guardian was literally set up there from Paradox. That was his entire life, yet he dies realizing that, damn, his one life's purpose and mission, it was moot, right? Ben's good faith kind of like fucks him over, and it's really sad. And later on, like Kevin just shows up out of nowhere, right? We get to the Celestial Sapiens place, and one of the coolest moments too, with OG Ben 10 coming back as Paradox foreshadowed, what is it? Don't lean, right? On that barrier thing. Ben ends up leaning. OG Ben 10 pulls up. It's a cool scene. He also calls Gwen, you got a fat ass, and he gets a kiss for that. Say what you will about the incest plotline. Anyways, and then the Ultimate Greg stuff felt so anticlimactic, right? That dude pulls up and then he's done. Kevin drains him, takes all the power, and that's the saddest part. It's not that Kevin's crashing out because he wants to crash out. This dude basically takes it upon himself to take it for the team, and while absorbing that power, he goes mad. And then what does Ben do? Try to save him? Try to redeem his friend? No. He's like, I'm gonna put you down like the dog you are. And I'm like, what the fuck? I generally don't think Kevin would have done that for Ben. Kevin's always been so consistent with Ben in being, that's my brother, that's my best friend, that's my hero. In OG Ben 10, listen, it's a bit different, right? I'm talking about after we got to Alien First and Ultimate Alien onwards, right? But that storyline was so unique, different, kind of felt forced, but at the same time, gave us such an interesting, different story of this children's cartoon that I didn't think was going to get that dark, and led to some really cool moments. So even though the writing is questionable and inconsistent, it's like fan fiction. I'm eating that shit up.
I mean, a hot one due to Ben's attitude towards dealing with his friend Kevin during the
Nah, Kevin says like, I would have done that to you too. I don't believe that. I think it's banter. I think Kevin just says that shit. I think Kevin is the type where he might say that shit but actually never follow through. I think his character is way more pure than that. Ben though, what the fuck?
Kevin arc. It's the most prominent instance in the show where we see Ben genuinely talk about taking a life. And funny enough, it revolves around his best friend Kevin, not someone like his arch enemy Vilgax or the villain prior Agrigor. Ben all around has a...
What happened to Greg? Did he die? Did he die? I don't know. Because Kevin just kind of drains him. He just like, all right, bye. And the other thing is, in Omniverse, Greg doesn't really make sense because of the rooters. Yeah, he literally got retconned out of existence. It's a very interesting thing that happened to him.
Weird track record with his stance and approach to killing. So today, I want to take a closer peek at it to see if I can figure out exactly where Ben stands on that side of the line, and if killing or not killing suits his character. Ben's actions in Ultimate Alien may be what caused this discussion, but Ben in Classic also has like tons of questionable moments. They of course aren't as upfront about it in the Classic series.
Yeah, there's a couple of moments where we're like analyzing, like, oh, did that character die? Did this person die, right? I think the Sludge Puppy episode, there was a moment, right? It was the marriage episode, right? And you know, with Lucy's people. I vaguely remember Ben just kind of killing one of those aliens, right?
Since it's a more lighthearted show. Also, you know, Ben's like a 10-year-old, and having a 10-year-old flat out talk about killing somebody would have had this show sent to Adult Swim in a heartbeat.
Would have been cool though.
Now, Ben never actively shows any murderous intent unless it's against JT and Cash.
Shout out to JT and Cash. That's crazy. Is this the baseball episode? I think they're all mind controlled and shit. It's crazy. This is actually insane. Went diamond clock on them. They're robots. They're robots.
Is it just me? Or
he enjoyed that.
was that thing smiling when it smashed our robots together?
But
I mean, shit. If you had JT and Cash as your biggest haters in fucking elementary school, wouldn't you crash out too as a kid? I would.
He does get super violent against many non-organic grunts he squares off against. Him beating down on non-human goons with a bit more force is...
Yeah, so this is the thing, right? When random Vilgax drones are dying, who gives a fuck? But if a human dies, then it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Which I think is greater dialogue and commentary about empathy, right, in the food chain. Because we don't recognize these random alien drones and robots as like real, I guess, things, right? But when you see like a humanoid dying, it's way more like, damn, what the fuck? Because you see yourself in that. But these things, it's like fictional robot things. Who cares, right?
Just a cartoon staple though. There's tons of action cartoons where the characters will tear through enemies that if they were human would get your show hit with the TVMA rating for sure. Ben's aggressive combat style is more so just how the artists and animators decided to craft entertaining action rather than it being proof of him being a ruthless hero, because he has
fucking Robs. This park pisses me off. Diamondcock for no reason got like a 1000x multiplier buff. Vilgax should have won. And then Vilgax should have conquered Earth. And Ben, throughout the rest of the season, should have redeemed himself along with other villains and antagonists, such as even the Forever Knights. And all the other people. Fucking bring in Darkstar to bring all the bad people that are now facing the consequence of Vilgax, the conqueror of Earth. And as we bind together, a common enemy unites us all. And then to save Earth. Wouldn't that be a compelling plot?
Handful of moments in the show that show him to be against taking a life. He stopped the Kraken from killing that main shitty biologist guy in the Kraken episode, and Kevin, funny enough, in Classic, points out how a good guy like Ben doesn't have the balls to finish off a bad guy like him.
Which then, later on, do you think that was foreshadowing? I don't think so. I think a lot of the things just kind of happen to line up, and it's a coincidence.
Guys never have the guts to finish guys like me.
Oh boy, if only he knew how wrong he was. So while Ben in Classic really shows any thirst for killing and sometimes even stands against it, there are still a handful of moments that make you question how fully against it he is. The main instances of evaluating Ben's potential of having a no-kill role in Classic comes into play whenever one of his main antagonists are involved. Not surprising that this is the case, since anytime he crosses paths with the Vilgax, Ghost Freak, even the Forever King, the stakes
or a moment. The power of 20 suns honed in by Upchuck.
Were always high, which is why it's surprising that Ben never explicitly pondered the thought of taking them out for good, especially Vilgax. Like, he should have been on a sushi platter a long time ago. In the season,
he unironically kind of pretty much got turned into sushi. It's when he was like the Dagon arc and Vilgax kept losing aura, and we were straight up at a sushi restaurant with like octopus being served, and the writers are like, listen, this isn't Vilgax, but you clearly know what we're doing here.
One finale, Ben does blow Vilgax shit smooth off with Max's anti-Vilgax gun that Vilgax does tank, but it ends up trapping him in his chip, causing him to blow up, where Ben believed him to be dead as the next time they
and when that shit happens, right? Again, it's one of those things where like this creepy octopus monster giant thing, I mean, you kill it, it's not like leaving a human to die, right? So again, it's less impactful, and you're like, you don't really think about it, right? And he's the bad guy, so whatever, I guess.
See each other and back with a vengeance. He was surprised that both him and Kevin were alive. Now you can make the argument that Ben wasn't going for the kill at that moment.
It's actually so funny. Kevin and Vilgax lost this. Gwen's sleight of hand really paid off, right? But it's actually crazy. Like, how the fuck did a 10-year-old Ben and Gwen win this shit against these two here with all their powers?
He was surprised that both him and Kevin were alive. Now you can make the argument that Ben wasn't going for the kill at that moment. He said he was just pulling the Bale Batman special of, I won't kill you, but I don't have to save you. Which, I mean, you know, it's a fair take, but like, he thought bro was dead. In Secret of the Omnitrix, when Ben gets access to Way Big, he literally picks Vilgax up and baseball pitches him into space. And while it is a funny ass thing for Ben to do, this to me feels more like a fuck you a-hole type of act instead of a flat out murder attempt. I can't give him that same pass.
Yeah, there's no like killing intent, right? It's just cartoon shenanigans. Haha, see you in space, bye-bye, right? Oh, there he goes, blown away again, like Team Rocket, right? Team Rocket fucking blows up. Oh no, are they gonna die from fall damage? Are they gonna die from the explosion? You don't care about that. You don't think about that, right? It's just cartoon logic, whatever.
So when it comes to Camille's parents, Ghost Freak, the Mycelium, or the Big Tick, Ben knew the scares.
That's a nostalgia trip right there.
His weakness was sunlight, so he proceeded to willfully engulf him in sunlight. And yes, Zisker does survive this, but when Ghost Freak returns, Dr. Victor says that Ben thought he had destroyed Zisker.
It is where you believe you destroyed my master.
Yeah, and another thing, right? Non-humanoid, you got this ghost monster thing haunting Ben, so whatever we do to kind of beat Ghost Freak, not killing him by driving a dagger to his throat or something to a humanoid, but rather sunlight. you don't really think much of it.
You were wrong.
So yeah, I'm saying Ben thought he killed him. Same goes for the mycelium, you know, the giant fungus from Camp Fear that
Yeah.
Ben killed with some powder Max gave him for his athlete's foot. If you just look at how that thing went out
Yeah, another one, right? Non-humanoid, who gives a fuck?
in the fact that like it never returns or is referenced, it's safe to
Creepy
say that
episode.
Ben killed that thing. During the episode Big Fat Alien Wedding, when fighting
There's it is, right? We were analyzing this wedding episode of like, yo, these are some sludge puppies dying? What happened there?
Camille's Lenopan parents, Bennett's heat blast ends the fight by completely hardening his
Yeah.
Lenopan. What makes it so crazy is that Camille sees Ben do this to her parents and she just like fucking jokes about it.
Little big for the wedding cake.
Because she's one of the good ones.
Shorty, your parents are fucking dead. In the -10
They were pretty bad. I forget the details, but I think the parents were very opposed to the wedding, right? No. Wasn't there like an ex-boyfriend? There was like a boyfriend that was fucking upset about this shit. I think the parents were involved too.
finale, Upchuck eats his sub energy and takes down the Forever King with an explosion that
the
ends up
negative
taking
10.
off half of Mount Rushmore and seemingly vaporized Driscoll. And yes, he does come back in Ultimate Alien. I just don't understand how he just didn't die though. Like that armor must be something fucking serious to tank a blast like that. As
Forever
much
Night
as I
diff.
like to, I'm not gonna count this against Ben, as even though the show makes it seem like Driscoll is dead, the dialogue from Max and Ben say otherwise. So just chalk this up to Ben going overboard and not thinking too much about.
Yeah, and this one, Driscoll is a human. This is a knight, but I think a lot of people watching it just kind of see the negative 10, you know, forever knight armor and cyborgish, and he's the bad guy. So he takes it and he goes away. Oh well, we win, right? Again, no malice or killing intent. The enemy has been defeated, and people just move on.
About it. However, none of those moments are more egregious than what Ben does to the big tick. He jumps inside of the tick and we see him destroy it from the inside, decimating its organs, heart, and bones.
That's right, because if we let this thing basically grow more, then the entire Earth would have been destroyed, right? These things are basically, these aliens are just simping for this great tick thing, right? They think it's like a god, some sort of deity, and it's going from planet to planet. So in this example, you kind of like weigh in like the morality of, well, it's this monster thing, again, that's not a human, versus the light of all the humans on Earth. It's an easy decision to make.
I think that alone is all the evidence you need to assume that, yeah, this kid is a fucking psychopath. Early on in Ben's superhero career, you can make the argument that he only acts to kill his villains when the stakes are high, sometimes in both direct and indirect fashion. But how does this change when he gets older? The decision to age up Ben in the sequel series is still
Ascalon, baby. It looks so good.
one of my favorite things the franchise did, especially since along with his growth in age, the show decided to grow up as well. The UAF era is the darkest and most mature out of the three eras of Ben 10. These shows tackle some very heavy subjects, and most fans believe that they tackled them well. So with
Yeah, there were some really heavy themes. Remember the Jennifer Nocturne episode, right? With the Stockholm Syndrome? Oh my god, with Captain Nemesis. That shit was fucked. I'm like, this is not a children's show. This is like a in-depth analysis of toxic relationships with people that refuse to change for the better. There were some really insane episodes there, man. What about the Overkill episode? Remember that with Area 51? With like the general that is so fucking racist to aliens that he kept this Overkill thing, but his planet was basically getting fucked up and now he's released, but now all his people are dead. And you see, you know, the general's like family and how Overkill is like, yeah, you still have your fucking family. And it's that episode was insane too.
you see them start to fumble, it becomes a talking point. The hybrid invasion arc is what I and many consider Ben 10's peak. It excels at everything you could ask for in a story arc, though there is
The DNA aliens were fucking crazy. The power scaling of them were so volatile.
one glaring issue. The trio find out in episode 6 that the deed aliens being controlled by xenocytes. Ben is able to cure Ken, Gwen's brother, who was taken under
Holy shit, I forgot Gwen had a brother. Which is also crazy because Gwen names his... Ben 10K names his kid after Gwen's brother, Ken, later on.
control of the xenocyte, proving that these are turning humans into alien puppets. And you think since the team knows that, they go easy on them, right? Right?
Nah.
Before you could defend their brutality by saying,
Again, right? It's just... You just assume that DNA aliens, you know, they're already fucked up. If you don't beat them and subjugate them, something worse will happen to them. They don't even look like humans, even though the human has been transformed. You just kind of assume that there is this alien, just like exoskeleton body that can take all the damage and whatever, they can play.
The D and aliens are just creatures, so the show can get away with it, like every other show does. The show makes it
Pretty much
known to them that there are humans that are under the D and alien skin, yet they continue their aggressive methods against them. Like, they drop a building on some of these niggas, dude. Of course, this is still a kid's show, even though it is a bit mature than other ones. There's still a high chance that none of these D and aliens actually die, but it really confuses things like so much. Ben knows that he can cure them. He did it to Ken, and yeah, it does take a lot of energy out of the Omnitrix, but after he does it to Ken, he just doesn't try to do it again until the near end and finale of the arc.
Yeah, because it's too convenient of a power, right? To just use that power to transform all the DNA aliens back, right?
It takes Darkstar of all people to
and there is also this is a cool frame of Darkstar here. There's also a quote-unquote filler episode where Ben chooses to save a DNA alien human over this object that is going to escalate the high breach plan. Do you guys remember that episode? There's this final conclusion, the climax, where it's like a ship, and now Ben has a choice to make. Save the human, the DNA alien guy, or, focus on the objective. And that episode, I think, kind of adds on more to, like, humanizing the DNA aliens and Ben in his efforts to try to be good rather than just killing or, do actions that would harm and kill.
Mind, bro, that he has the power to cure them.
These are human beings, Michael. They're under alien control. We take them down, not out.
You're a fool.
Fine.
Ben. What would you do? Cure them?
Yes.
Actually, that's not
Yes.
a bad idea.
Bro just remembered. And you can just hand it off to Ben is a stupid teenager. He just realized.
Yeah.
Ben, my guy, you found that out in episode 6 of the show.
Again, right? Convenience factor. If Ben just used this, it's like then just like the argument here is just use Alien X, right? Just use Alien X, bro. who gives a fuck?
It's getting kind of hard to defend you, big bro.
And you also have to add on, right? There are times when a convenient answer to everything makes the story just flat. And on top of that, you can do some mental gymnastics. Ben is a stupid kid and he just forgot about it, whatever.
Bro, and it's not gonna get any easier. Ultimate Alien is where this conversation is most prominent due to the Ultimate Kevin arc. The arc where Kevin goes insane due to absorbing ultimation to stop Agagor, and Ben becomes hell-bent on killing him.
That's the fucked up part. He literally put everything on the line to save everyone. But in the end, he goes mad with the powers he consumed. And Ben, what does he do? His solution is to kill him, rather than actually try to have any other solution that we've used before. And again, I kind of really enjoyed the storyline. I actually really enjoyed how they were able to just go all the way with it and provided a darker tone to the series, even though it didn't make sense. It was fun content. Wouldn't have it any other way.
The biggest criticism in this arc is that Ben just jumps to the conclusion of killing Kevin when we never really see.
If there's actually spoilers in this video, rather than fucking complaining about it in chat, why don't you fucking provide a timestamp like Progangster did and warn me, okay? So, okay, 1435, we'll skip it.
See him move like this
How long? 1435 until when? Let me know the actual, ending timestamp.
anywhere prior in the show. He doesn't act like this against Vilgax or even the Hybrid last series. The closest we ever see Ben act like this was against the previous villain Agagor, when he full sended an ass whooping on him, where Ben intended to finish him off if Gwen didn't intervene. Still,
That was crazy. Ben was genuinely popping off here. Like, what the fuck? Humongousaur upscale.
Intended to finish him off if Gwen didn't intervene. Still, that doesn't compare to Ben in this arc, because once he accepts the reality of killing Kevin at the end of Nor Iron Bar's Cage, he starts to move different. I'm talking using the Plumber Academy and his rookies to soften up Kevin for an easy kill, challenging Gwen in both arguments and a fight where he
he went way big on her. Like, what?
uses way big against her to
Crazy.
prove his point on taking out Kevin, going around to interrogate the Knights and Volcanus about Kevin's whereabouts like he's the fucking Batman.
Who cares about the Knights? They deserve it.
Even telling Grandpa Max that he believes putting Kevin down.
Yeah, Max was down. Max straight up told Ben, nah, that boy, do what it's necessary. I thought Max would be like, that's not you, right? Max straight up was like, that boy will do what's necessary.
Down is what he has to do, and he's giving it real thought and already came to his
It's crazy.
conclusion. In the
It's actually so funny. Max looks like a fucking Max looks like Goku in the healing chamber, bro. In the Frieza saga in Dragon Ball Z.
Conclusion. In the iconic showdown they have, Ben uses Ultimate Echo Echo to take Kevin down, literally using a move called Sonic Doom, just to show that like he is not fucking around. He gets moments, and I
Ultimate Echo Echo, probably the strongest ultimate alien that we've seen.
mean moments away from killing Kevin. And if not for Gwen stepping in, I wholeheartedly believe Ben would have done it. No question.
Maybe.
Another famous episode, The Purge, Ultimate Alien.
This was such an abrupt kill here with fucking what was his name? Spiky guy. I forgot. They were making out. They were literally Pierce, right? Pierce was literally, it's funny that Arjun is literally Pierce. Not really, but like the DNA stuff, right? With the router stuff. It's crazy how Pierce just dies while hooking up with the girl. And the Forever Knights just pull up and it's just like, what has just happened?
Once again throws him in a position that brings Ben's killing into question. When the Forever Knights are going around purging alien life on Earth, the Knights kill a well-established character, Pierce Wheels, in the opening of this episode. And I feel like if Ben knew that, he probably wouldn't have just monologued to Driscoll and instead actually drove his ultimate spider monkey.
They kept that very ambiguous, right? Like Pierce got, but the show didn't explicitly state or emphasize any of it, and we just move on. And there's some comments made later on that kind of reminisces Pierce, but I'm like, what the hell?
Leg through his fucking shoulder. Still, Ben just makes a serious yet believable threat to the Knights that everyone in their brother has heard, where he states that if they hunt any more aliens, they'll regret it for their very short lives.
Damn.
Watching this moment always gives me chills, dude. It's so fucking peak. This ends the ultimate.
Yeah, I just wish that he would have delivered all the way through, because these Knights are goddamn frauds and they continue to get in our way afterwards.
It always gives me chills, dude. It's so fucking peak. This and the Ultimate Kevin incident are the strongest pieces of evidence the show gives that Ben may not have a no-kill rule at all like other heroes. However, this is the most concrete evidence the show gives going forward, as the most Omniverse gives us is
Malware.
11-year-old Ben destroying Malware. However, I don't believe Ben meant to kill Malware in this instance. He went in for a punch in his human form, and the Omnitrix just so happened to overload him. But
one of the coolest moments for sure in Omniverse 2. That Malware saga was amazing.
But I will say it was a justified
The scream, I remember that scream distinctly.
murder, because if someone took your favorite thing in the world right in front of you and lapped it off, they'd be on the top of your hit list. In the Showdown 2-parter, both Malware and Asmus state that the heroes assumed they had destroyed Malware for good. Ben, once again this time with the help of feedback, takes down Malware, and though it's hard to tell exactly what happens to him, Malware just becomes like this stone husk of himself. Vilgax.
Yeah, and you just kind of assume again, Malware, non-humanoid, right? It's just like whatever. This dude is like and Malware's a very tragic character in how he never asked to be like this, right? Due to Asmith's ambition getting, you know, in the way again, we created these, what was it called, galvanic mechamorphs, right? And a lot of them were good, but then there was obviously going to be an outlier, and Malware is that outlier. And Asmus tries so hard to fix him, but Malware realizes that like everything is fucked and nothing will ever help, and he crashes out. And he's a tragic character. But even and then there's like the trauma of Ben not using feedback ever again, which then he confronts. He gives himself therapy. It's really cool, and then he emerges and defeats Malware. So again, kids watching it just kind of very excited, very hyped, very happy, and they move on.
And Albedo end up.
Can you just shut the fuck up about spoilers for once? Your entire fucking do you think I need your stupid ass to remind me every fucking 6 seconds like a fucking alarm clock on snooze that there's a spoiler over and over again? Jesus fucking Christ, let me do my thing.
Stealing his hugs to repurpose it into a suit for Vilgax, but it seems
Funniest design. Funniest design. There's plenty of people trying to help. And then there's those that don't know how to fucking read a room and make it fucking obnoxious. Just have a little bit of fucking tact. It's also so insulting that you think I don't remember the shit that you've already spammed 30 messages 5 minutes ago. Like, god damn, just shut the fuck up and watch.
to repurpose it into a suit for Vilgax, but it seems to have no sentience and is just a suit of armor. So Ben technically kills Malware. Yeah, he kills him twice. Ben also vaporizes
Again, not a humanoid, who cares?
the scare for like the third or fourth time, but this time he leaves a huge ball of light in the area, so he seemingly can't be revived, meaning that, yeah, Ben kills him once and for all. I say with uncertainty though, because it scares like a cockroach. The guy.
Alright, let me just start calling off people that's really fucking annoying. Another Ben 10. These are second channel retards, bro. It's so fucking annoying. All you have to do is just shut the fuck up and move on. That's all you have to do. Anyone else? Does anyone else want to talk shit? Anyone? Like, it's crazy. More reasons, you know what? Another fucking month of Ben 10 fucking delayed. I'll just delete the second channel at this rate. God damn, y'all are so fucking annoying. I might as well just end the video right now. Holy shit.
Like never dies. In the Saturdays crossover, Ben absorbs all of BB Argos's energy that I believe is actually like...
Yeah, I know. Most of you are fine, right? It's always like that fucking 1% that ruins it for everyone. Most people are just chilling. They're straight up just having fun. Then you have these fucking retards, right? That are the 1%. The people that you see in the YouTube comment section or like Twitter threads, they're the dumbest motherfuckers that just has to fucking make everything worse and worse when you could just shut the fuck up and enjoy, especially if it's already been mentioned. Half the fucking video now is going me just moderating my fucking chat rather than reacting to the fucking video.
Life energy, and afterwards Argos just falls to the ground, and that's it. We don't see him taken into plumber custody, base, or anything. So kind of like the Forever King before his UA appearance, it's up to interpretation on if Ben slimed out Argos. You know, he killed the Saturday's big bad. Lastly,
he probably deserved it, right? He probably deserved it. Hey, there's a clockwork guy here.
There's the final big bad of Omniverse, Mountain Truant.
Probably should skip this part. If you guys didn't even list this part, then why am I even showing this? Damn. Y'all are so fucking garbage. You can't even give me the right fucking spoiler tag. This is 11 minutes and 08. This is 11:08. You retard, you're saying 14:35, 14:35. You can't even do your job. This is what I have to work with. I have to do everything myself. And not only that, you can't even do your fucking job, and you're being annoying, constantly spamming the timestamp. That's not even the first spoiler. You can't make this shit up, bro. Holy fuck. All right, let's skip over this part. Let's skip over this part. This looks like some OG stuff. Let's watch this part.
First scene I haven't looked at for this conversation. In the classic episode Ben 10,000, arguably a top 5 episode of Clash.
Damn, his hair looks fucking crazy here. Man, that birthday cake. That birthday cake for Max. It's because of that. After that, like, we never see the hair slick back. It actually looks better this way.
Classic, where Ben meets his future self. In the episode, there's a scene where Ben 10K says to young Ben and Gwen,
What about Vilgax?
Last I saw of him, I left him in pieces. It wasn't pretty for anyone. I've seen fans tie this Ben 10K future in with the goodbye and good riddance.
Yo, the dad. Right, this is one of those like, people call it failure, but it was kind of like, whoa, who's a narrator, right? The omniverse, like, oh, the multiverse stuff.
Future in with the goodbye and good riddance what if episode, where in that episode Ben gets his secret identity revealed, but more importantly, we see Vilgax get blown up. At best,
this ain't even close to the shit that happened before in OG Ben when he got blown off into space.
He's like probably put in critical condition, and at worst the motherfucker's dead. It's a neat theory that I sometimes subscribe to. However, the way 10K talks, it sounds like he himself ended Vilgax. So it's possible to believe that Ben in the future has actually killed, considering the idea of killing more than his younger / prime self, especially when it comes to...
I'm just wondering how this video is going to end. Because right now, the video is basically listing all these events where something or someone died, right? And I'm just kind of waiting for like, so what? Where are you going with this? How are we concluding this idea? And what kind of theme or message are you trying to convey, or like a lesson, right? Hopefully he gets to it by the end of the video, because we're just documenting all the different kill lists right now.
His more serious threats. However, if that is the case, it's kind of weird how in that episode is that if he did kill Vilgax back in the past, why wouldn't he do it again? Like, he comes back and he just leaves him frozen in the lake. Like, you think he just end his existence and kill him now since he's done it before. Overall, if you were to come up to me on the street and ask me, do you believe Ben kills? I would respond to you with it just depends. Ben, to me, does have...
Absolutely he does, right? But when you think about kill, the morality and the ethics is usually beholden to other humans, right? That you don't go and kill another human. But if it's aliens or other beings, monsters that's threatening other humans, then to kill is an option that Ben has utilized. He doesn't obsess about it. The show doesn't explicitly mention it, but it does happen. And I don't think it's hypocritical. I think that, like, basically, when you step on an ant on the side of the road, do you cry and be traumatized? Do you? What about the food you eat? These are animals, right? It's part of the food chain. It's the natural hierarchy. You don't think about this. It's just natural, right? In a similar way, I guess the alien kind of preys upon us. But what I'm trying to say is, when we exist in this natural hierarchy, killing aliens and self-defense and all these other things, it's like an act of morality in a way, because you're self-preserving your own kind. It gets tricky though when suddenly trying to preserve your own kind comes at the cost of, again, one of your own kind, like Kevin. And that's why I think it was such more significant than these random nobodies, even if these are base humans that got converted to aliens.
Rule when it comes to killing, and that he will most definitely kill if he himself deems it necessary, which, applying that to other moments in the show, make his past actions, at least to me, make a lot more sense. Ben had just got his ass handed to him by Agregor throughout season 2 of Ultimate Alien, to the point where the bad guy almost won. After that, it made sense that Ben doesn't want to make that same mistake again of letting the villain cause all this damage, so he seeks out to kill Kevin before he ends up causing any of that chaos. The scare personally put Gwen in danger in his first appearance.
I still don't buy it though. In terms of any logical solution, there are other ways to bring Kevin down rather than just killing him, as we clearly saw at the very end, right? Again, very forced way of writing to really explore this other path to Ben 10, which doesn't make sense. It's not consistent to the writing, but I'm still very appreciative of showing me that side.
Kevin before he ends up causing any of that chaos. The scare personally put Gwen in danger in his first appearance, and unlike other villains, he didn't just want the Omnitrix from Ben, he wanted like Ben in general.
This is crazy. 10-year-old Gwen competing with fucking forearms. OG Gwen before the magic is something else. Her physicality is like, what the fuck? She's fighting Vilgax drones with a fucking broom and a shovel in like the single-digit episodes of Ben 10 OG in season 1.
Making his threat to Ben a lot more fearful. So I mean, like, yeah, we gotta kill his ass. The big tick in the mycelium were going to destroy the planet, so in that case, you have no other choice, really. And Malware is Ben's most personal villain. He took something from Ben that couldn't be replaced. So in order to stop Malware from causing any more pain to anyone, yeah, Ben turned him into a fucking husk. He killed him. But in all those same sentiments, I don't believe Ben looks to kill. He spared plenty of his enemies, even his worst enemy.
Yes, the only time he specifically meant to kill was against Ultimate Kevin.
Of them all, Vilgax.
This episode's fucked. Black Eye Vilgax, bro. It's so sad. Actually, so sad.
Say the word. I will. That's right. You do.
You can see that same will again in Ultimate Kevin's first real episode, as he doesn't immediately fight Kevin to kill him. It's only at the end of the episode where he comes to the conclusion that Kevin may be a lost cause.
I think we're past that.
We need to put him down.
I think we have to put him down.
What's that supposed to mean?
We're gonna kill him, Gwen.
And
I just can't, bro. I can't. Like, are you serious? This is your brother, bro. This is gonna be your brother-in-law. Not brother-in-law. What would Kevin be? Gwen is his cousin. It's just cousin-in-law? It's just extra cousins? If Kevin becomes like married to Gwen? How does that work? I don't know.
And I think that suits his character more than leaning heavily one way. Like, he's not Batman with the firm reasons to stand against the thought of killing, nor is he someone like Wolverine who would just, kill for fun and shit. If Ben believes
spoiler incoming
can be handled without extreme violence, then that's how he'll try to handle it.
Apparently I can watch this part without watching the visuals, so I'll just scroll down. 1435 incoming.
However, Ben's main goal as a hero is to protect all forms of life, the universe, in fact, against anyone who threatens it. And while he does carry...
Okay, based on the visuals that I'm kind of seeing, it just looks like some out of context fucking action hype scene, bro. Who gives a fuck? I mean, better to know, If you know, why not avoid it? But genuinely, like, I don't care about new forms, new powers, or whatever, because like I don't know the context or the story elements that made it significant, right? So it's like it's genuinely not a big deal. But if I know and I can avoid it, let's just avoid it.
Immense power. Sometimes there's a threat that may be too much, meaning there's no other way to handle them but the extreme. That's my take at least, and I would love to hear what you all.
Go back.
Immense power. Sometimes there's a threat that may be too much, meaning there's no other way to handle them but the extreme.
Yeah, but Ultimate Kevin wasn't that. Nah, I don't buy it, right? I understand what DanBoy is saying, right? Justifying why Ben did that. But in terms of like Kevin's threat to the world, nah, I don't buy that shit.
That's my take at least, and I would love to hear what you all think. Do you think Ben actively has a strict no kill rule, or do you think he looks to kill his enemies?
I don't think he even thinks about killing or not killing. I think that this is a children's cartoon that keeps killing very ambiguous, and a lot of the times the killing that you see are for non-humanoid creatures because you don't empathize with that. And the only time that Ben actually had killing intent was when he gave up on Kevin in Ultimate Alien, not because of any character development or consistency in the writing, but the authors wanting to explore a darker path, which again I'm very appreciative for.
If you enjoyed this video, consider hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel for more content like this. Also, hype the video if you're watching on mobile, as it really helps it hit the algorithm. By the time you're watching this, the second chapter of my Ben 10 fan comic, Absolute Ben.
Oh shit, why does Ben look like Rudy's from Mushoku Tensei? Written by DanBoyWonder? Bro's an author? What? Does this guy make comics? Can anyone make comics? What the hell? What is this channel? How does one register? What? Can anyone do that? Hey, that's pretty cool. That's really cool.
Ben 10 has been released, so check that out in the description below. And until next time, this has been Dan, the Boy Wonder, signing out.
Thank you, DanBoyWonder. My overall take with when a hero's kill rules make no sense. So what was the point of the video? Well, he kind of summarized all the different things where Ben seemed like he'd kill something, right? And we kind of make comparisons of why some things might have been more significant than the other, right? I think that, again, to me, when you are killing alien threats, robotic threats, whatever, it's not really a big deal, nor do people even think about it. If you want to really read deep into it, I don't think Ben is even thinking about, oh shit, I shouldn't kill this because it's an alien or a human. In fact, I think that Ben actually empathizes more with aliens than anyone else because of the Omniverse and how much that he can relate to them, right? Especially in the hybrid invasion, right? A big core about that was the whole racism part and how Azimuth created the Omnitrix not as a weapon of mass destruction, but as a tool, right? For like discovery and bridging gaps and for other people to see from the other perspectives, right? It's not for combat. The Rhiney stuff was so compelling. And I feel like Ben is not discriminatory towards aliens, but actually really respects them, right? And even then, the whole Ultimate Kevin stuff, again, my overall take, just very specific forced writing that kind of goes against the existing character traits and consistency in the writing for a darker, grittier storyline, which I'm all down for. Sometimes I don't give a fuck if it lines up with the story, if it doesn't make sense. If it leads to entertaining content, I'm like, fuck it, let's go. Thank you, DanBoyWonder. Here's a link to the video, a very well thought out video. And I will see you in the next one where it's probably not going to be a Ben 10 Omniverse reaction. We're going to be farming random video essays until the end of time. Goodbye. I'm holding you hostage.